think the fallen angels could have been what many ancient cultures worshipped as gods?
𝗦𝗨𝗣𝗣𝗍 points out in his book, The Unseen Realm. And a simpler version of that book is called Supernatural, both by 𝗦𝗨𝗍𝗣𝗧, where he says God is a divine council. And this divine council is spoken of, I want to say it's Psalm 89, maybe Psalm 82 as well, a couple other places. And this divine council, of course, God doesn't need a divine council. He doesn't need any of us. But he set up these spiritual beings who are Elohim. They were called gods, but they're not the God, right? They're created beings. And he assigned them to the different nations. And when they turned those nations against Yahweh, God confused their languages, this is the Tower of Babel, and disinherited the nations. And in the very next chapter, Abraham shows up. And this is God now going to re-inherit those nations through a process through Abraham. So for me, whenever I read the Tower of Babel, I said, this is a bizarre story. What is this about confusing the languages? It doesn't seem to make any sense. But once you see that there's a divine council who God says, you are going to die like men now, these Elohim, because of what you've done. Now I'm going to reacquire the nations. You see, well, it should be this way from your perspective. Here's the Tower of Babel. God disinherits the nations. He brings forth a Messiah that comes from Abraham all the way through David, and Jesus arises, and he's the Messiah, the seed, who saves the world. And then right after that, you have Pentecost. Pentecost is the reversal of Babel. God confuses the languages in Babel. He has people speak different languages so they could communicate with one another. In Pentecost, here is where he begins to re-inherit the nations. Notice when Jesus gives the Great Commission, he goes, therefore, make disciples of all people. No, he doesn't say that. What does he say? Make disciples of all nations. He's re-inheriting the nations. And that re-inheriting continues to this very day. You're all part of it. So there were these, you want to call them fallen angels, you want to call them Elohim that fell away. You might say they were part of the divine council, if you want to say that.
Okay.
And they led people astray. And God now has put a plan in place to re-inherit the nations, and that's what he's doing now.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.